we're back in the
testing.
studio.
My name is Nick Sweeney. I was screaming at the top of my lungs today. All right.
What were you screaming at the top of your lungs
Beautiful.
about?
I wasn't screaming any words. I was just primal, deep screaming. I don't know. It felt good. Just felt like I was like, I don't yell enough. I don't scream enough.
We don't.
I was like, I love primal yelling. Like I went through a phase where I was doing it, kind of, not a lot. I was doing it and I hadn't done it in a minute, so I just rolled down the windows in the truck and just started blasting.
So good.
I was listening to like some Viking war music, so I was deep in it this morning.
You're truly a one-of-a-kind character. Like, what lab did they make you?
Wuhan. Nah. Just kidding. You might have to bleep that out. Yeah.
No, the reason why you're on this podcast right now is John F. Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
Back problems, back pain.
Yeah.
And I invited your brother Jack on, my dear friend. I was trying to give him some shine, give him some recognition for all the work he's been doing on the back
That was
end.
this session?
Yes.
Was supposed to be Jack.
You didn't know that?
No.
That's fucking
I didn't know that. I was like, oh, someone must have canceled. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he didn't just cancel like in the last
Right.
30 minutes, but yesterday he texted me, I can't do it. Like my back is acting up. And it's like, okay, I know someone's going to ask to go on the podcast in the next. And I figured he told you that.
Nope.
And then you asked yesterday, without knowing this, you asked to come on the podcast or whenever we wanted to run a podcast. It's like, yeah, great. I got a spot. But I assumed you told.
That's hilarious because I did not. Wow.
So
there you go.
It was supposed to be a Sweeney. It was just not supposed to be Jack. Jack has been doing such great work with the Coherence app. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about because you launched an app.
We did. We launched an app called Coherence to help people breathe better, give them back the power of the breath, and to ultimately create the largest simultaneous meditation ever. That's the goal. Get 1 million people breathing together at the same time. That's, a North Star of the company, but really it's, how can we give people a way to breathe and understand the breath and make it fun, make it frictionless, make it kind of like, habit forming. What can we make to do that and to accomplish that? And yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Jack's not here because he's the one that did it. I mean, I know breathwork at a deep level, but he built the thing and he coded the thing and he's created the beautiful design and he's created really the vehicle to help people breathe. So yeah, that's the big update. And he's been on his back, unfortunately, for the past month, threw his back out, like literally on the floor, coding with his mouse.
With his mouth too.
Oh yeah.
By talking.
He talks and he uses a mouse and that's all he uses to code.
Incredible.
And I've been feeding him 3 square meals a day, keeping the lights on, cleaning, and then, making content, talking about breathwork and trying to help people understand how powerful it can be, especially when you do it consistently. And, but he's been the one in the trenches making it happen.
So beautiful. And this has been the longest stretch of doing breathwork that I've done and just like the most consistent and the most time. And it's because of this app. And this app is called Coherence and you can get it on any app store right now. Is it available on Android?
So Jack we just submitted to Android and we're waiting to hear back, but it should be next week on Android.
Amazing. Yeah. And it looks so good. It feels so good. And it is really helpful. I do the box breathing and the focus breath a lot. And then the coherence of just 5.5 in, 5.5 out. It is remarkable how simple it is and how amazing the UI is and how amazing the app is and how simple it is. So it feels like the perfect storm. And I'm just so grateful that you guys thought about this and devoted yourself to it, because it's made a huge impact on my life. And I know many others, and the funds are there to prove it. I mean, $15,000 in revenue in the first month, if not more.
No, I mean, that was in a day.
What?
Yeah, that was a day.
What?
Yeah.
I thought
When we went viral, that was, yep.
I thought I read a tweet from Jack that was like, revenue, 15,000 users. I don't know. We'd have to pull it up, but
I think that he is referring to the last bit of February.
oh, interesting.
But we're beyond that. Yeah.
Regardless,
Which is amazing.
incredible.
It's crazy.
Incredible progress has been made. I don't know, how many people are using it or anything like that, but it just speaks to how resonant the mission is with you guys and how resonant the mission is with other people. So
yeah, I mean,
congrats.
Thank you, bro. And thank you for, being along this journey with us. And you come over and we do our little masterminds every now and then. And I love how into it you've been, because it can be a bit of a bubble when you're on an entrepreneurial journey. And like, I'm so grateful to have Jack, because him and I are like in it together. We're not just one man on an island. We're two men on an island. But then, we can airdrop some air support from Danny, air support from Max Victor, shout out. We get some air support from our parents and other people that give us, their feedback too. We have a whole Coherence community chat on Telegram right now, and people are like, it's really, really amazing and gets me the fuck up in the morning right now, because I'm like, people are giving us feedback. People are telling us how it's changed their lives. I just got told this morning that a guy who was running like a mushroom ceremony here in Austin, he started the whole ceremony with Coherence. I was like,
God.
Whoa. I have a client who's now won 4 national championships, and he said he's done Coherence the whole time before the races, downhill ski racing.
Shout out Cooper Puckett.
My man. He's a special, powerful dude. But what I love to see as well, and what you can see clearly now from Jack's latest update, and you really got to get him on. This is, he's going to come on, but you just see the minutes of all these random users and how many minutes they've been breathing. And I'm like, just that alone, I'm like, this person's done 30 hours on the app. I haven't done 30 hours. I'm like, oh man, I got to beat that guy. But I'm like, that gets me fired up. That gets me up in the morning. It's like, let's make this happen, because I know breathwork. I know how powerful breathwork can be. And so if we can give that gift to people at scale, like, that is a cause worth fighting for. So yeah.
Incredible. I mean, one thing that I haven't heard you guys talk too much about, to me at least, is breathwork to improve your cardiovascular ability. It seems so obvious and natural, but I was talking to a guy earlier today, actually, who was a ski. He was telling me about the ski trip that he took and how much he loves skiing and how much it's a part of his life. And I wanted to introduce you to him, but he was coming back from an injury, a bike accident. This is like,
sounds like my kind of guy.
And he's coming back from a bike accident, and he noticed his cardio fitness isn't what it used to be. And I said, oh, you got to download Coherence, and I got to introduce you to my friend Nick. And he's like, what was that? Like, I can't wait to download it. And he was super excited to. But if somebody wants to improve their cardio fitness, just came back from an injury, what do you recommend? What could someone do, and what could someone use on Coherence to improve their cardio?
Right. Well, improving your cardio, that is for performance and it's for healing. And so to improve your cardiovascular fitness, you can do it a lot of different ways. That's the thing with breathwork. I mean, I could tell you 30 different ways to do it right now. But one way is to, every day, you hold your breath on the exhale hold And that is going to improve your heart health. That's what we're talking about with cardio. Improving your heart health. We're going to decrease how many heartbeats you have per minute when you do that. And when you decrease how many heartbeats you have per minute, you are decreasing how many breaths you have per minute. And if you decrease your heartbeats and you decrease your breaths per minute, you are in parasympathetic healing state more, and you're going to think less. You're doing 6 breaths per minute. You're going to have 30 to 60,000 thoughts a day, which is, most people do not breathe 6. The majority people breathe 12 to 16 breaths per minute, which is 120,000 to 180,000 thoughts that are 80% negative according to Harvard study, and mostly the same every day. And so if you can train your cardiovascular system to breathe less, well, then you think less, and then you have more awareness, and that's great for a plethora of reasons. But specifically, how do you improve your cardiovascular fitness? It's breathing in a way that primes you for a breath hold. So, you can do like a Wim Hof type of breathing. But really it's, how can I train my system to handle more CO2, more metabolic waste? So training that system looks like holding your breath or breathing as little as possible. And really it's really the breath holds. If he wants to not break down his muscles and stuff, but improve his cardiovascular, it's the breath holds. And so I had, for example, I had a client who was a track runner at LSU. Coy Ellis, shout out. Absolute legend. And he was able to do the breath work every single day during my program. And he started texting me all these things like, we did 800 repeats and I smoked everyone. What is happening to me? He's like, I don't even breathe. He's like, I suddenly am breathing only through my nose and I'm super relaxed. I'm like, well, what happens when you hold your breath on the exhale hold is your body kind of freaks out. It's like, whoa, the number one thing we need, air, is no longer coming in. What the hell? And you hold your breath for however long, and then you do breathe and your body's like, oh my God, we lived. And it immediately goes to work to become more efficient. Your body immediately goes to work after a breath hold to become better prepared in case you stop breathing again for some reason.
Right.
And so it's just like, you don't get stronger by bench pressing. You get stronger by chilling after the bench press.
Right.
And so that's what's happening when you hold your breath on the exhale hold. You're increasing the amount of resources. That's how you release growth hormone. That's how you release stem cells. That's how you heal.
So someone is like, okay, I want to improve my cardio health. Like, is there something on the Coherence app they could click?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tons.
Yeah.
What I would say is go do the TUMO pattern.
TUMO pattern. TUMMO. It's very, very similar to the Wim Hof. It's actually what Wim Hof's inspired by.
And that's going to have you do 30 breaths and then you exhale, hold for a minute. And then you do 30 breaths again, you exhale, hold for a minute. And with this new update that Jack just created, there already is a sequence that I've made that would be even more powerful, which is TUMO energy breaths and then you hold for a minute, and then coherence breaths and then you hold for 2 minutes. And you do that, I swear, if that's all you did once a day, I've seen many, many people now at this point heal, drop their resting heart rate 10, 20 beats, increase their heart rate variability. And so that's a way for you to get cardiovascularly healthier and more fit. But another way you could do it is literally we could do it here, where you hold the back of your chair, and I don't want to mess up the studio here,
Okay.
but you would hold the back of your chair while you're sitting at your desk, and you would put your head up and you would breathe in. I mean, let's do it.
Do it. Mess up the studio.
I want you to
I'll pay for it.
I want you to
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go like this. for the viewer, you can see you're going to just like hang forward on a chair.
Let me see if this, yeah. Okay. So,
Yep. And you're kind of going to get to the edge of the chair and you're going to lean forward and your shoulder's going to be back and chest is going to be up. And then I'm going to have you breathe in. And then breathe in. And then breathe in. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Breathe in more. Breathe in again. Breathe in again. And you just keep going. You can breathe in way more than you think. Past the ego. And then let go. Let the arms go. Just sit there. You can take a second and be like, whoa, what just happened? So you just opened up the diaphragm.
that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But, and how is that not common knowledge?
You just did cardio without breaking down any muscle tissues, any muscle fibers. You just increased your VO2 max. You just opened up your diaphragm. You just increased your tidal volume of your lungs. I could keep going on and on. I got plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, that was such a simple little thing that I mean, you feel different after doing that. That is crazy. For those of you who are listening to this, I recommend watching it as well, just to see you get up in your chair and then you put your hands on the back of your chair and you press your back, so almost like you're leaning forward, and then breathe in for 20 seconds?
You can go for minute plus.
I mean, but for someone starting out.
For someone starting out, inhale all the way and then see if you can just keep inhaling without stopping your breath. Just inhale at that 100% capacity. Just inhale, inhale, inhale. Keep pushing past that what you think that limit is. There's no limit. It's just your ego. Your ego doesn't want you to keep breathing in for whatever reason, but you keep breathing in and you keep expanding the lungs and opening the diaphragm up. And then suddenly, like you just noticed potentially, after you did that, your breathing was super slow and super calm all of a sudden. It's because your body's like, oh, we're good. We got plenty of space in here. We got plenty of oxygen. We're chilling. We don't need to have this like constant little like stress, like, oh, I need more air. I need a different composition of CO2 and oxygen in my body. It's like, no, we're good. So you're not like doing cardio where you're breathing really heavy. You're doing really like, that's the best type of cardio you can possibly do. If you're an endurance athlete or something, that makes your VO2 higher. So that's one way.
Wow.
We could keep going.
No, I think it's helpful because I haven't seen that part marketed, and I'm thinking of my mom, I'm thinking of my dad, I'm thinking of just regular people who are just like, okay, how would I improve my cardio? How would I improve my heart health? Like I don't need to heal anything, is let's say someone's perception or and I think it's important to address that and talk about that as well, because it's so cool that running is not the only way to improve your cardiovascular health. Biking is not the only way. There's many, many ways, and particularly using the breath, that can help you in a tremendous fashion. That's what I've experienced at least.
Yeah, and the diaphragm moves in 8 different ways, and I'm not going to walk you through every single way on this podcast, but in certain ways, like if you were to breathe in right now and keep your core really tight and you keep your stomach clenched and you breathe in, it's like the air in your lungs have nowhere to go down in your stomach, down in the lower. So what it does is it fills up your chest, and suddenly my lungs are like coming up in my chest in a way that they normally don't. And they're filling up my upper back in a way they normally don't. And I'm stretching the lung tissue in the upper lungs in a way that they don't normally get stretched. And if I do that every day, well, then suddenly my lungs have more room. And my lung tissue up here is way different than my lung tissue down here. And so I'm training this, but then you can train the lung tissue in the lower lungs as well. Breathing all the way out or all the way in but keeping your shoulders down and letting your stomach come all the way out. And we're just training, like, how far out can I push my stomach as I breathe in all the way? And if you do that every day, you're going to breathe better, because if there's one thing that people can maybe totally click right away, it's not that you don't have enough space in your lungs. It's that your posture, your musculoskeletal diaphragm, is what's constricting you. It's your rib cage. It's your tense shoulders. It's your stomach, your back. That's what's making it so that you can't fully just boost out with the lungs with every breath when you're running or just when you're sitting at a desk. And so what happens if you have like a balloon inside of a crumpled Coca-Cola can? It's like you breathe the air into the balloon. It's like it hits that barrier and it can't go past. And so what happens is then you got to breathe in that tiny little Coke can a bunch, which makes you stressed.
You posted about today how in 1939 people were taking 6 breaths per minute, and today they're taking 12 to 16, like you just said. And how has that happened?
I don't have an answer. I mean, I don't have like the answer.
Give me the answer. But isn't that wild?
It is crazy. I was shocked to see that. And I think that it's one of those like death by 1,000 cuts type of situation where we've got, if heart disease is the number one leading cause of death in America, then, and I think that's what it is. Pretty sure. What is intrinsically connected to the heart? It's the breath. And so I almost think that what I was showing this morning is not necessarily the cause, but kind of the symptom.
Yeah.
Well, if you are 200 pounds overweight, your heart's working harder to move everything through. So if your heart works harder, your breaths are higher. Like beats per minute is connected to breaths per minute. The beautiful thing is using our mind, we can lower our breaths per minute, which lower our beats per minute. So that's how we're intrinsically connected to the heart and the soul. But to your question, we're just getting more and more unhealthy for all the reasons that you could think.
Yeah, we don't know exactly why, but there are many factors you can say. Okay, I wonder what chat would say about. We could we're pretending like chat doesn't exist right now. Like I'm interested.
We got the smartest thing in our pocket right here.
Yeah, let's not pretend that we don't actually have access to it.
What's your guess?
For my guess, is that it's related to air quality. It's related to phone usage or computer usage, and connection. Like connection is down, and time in nature is down. I would imagine that 5 or 6 breaths per minute is more in line with how nature breathes.
That is the optimal breath for a human. 6 breaths.
Yeah.
5.5, 5.5.
That's 5.5 to 6 is breaths per minute. Meaning if you take a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale, you then breathe for 6 times in that minute.
Yep.
And that's the most natural thing. And if you just do that, you feel different. If you do that for 10 minutes, you feel like, what the?
What's fascinating, I know we're going on a tangent, but everyone has their own specific coherence breath. And the app we made, we're gonna figure out how to give people their own specific coherence breath eventually. But for now, 5.5 in, 5.5 out, that's the North Star for most people. I think if you're naturally a healthy 250-pound person, your breaths per minute is going to be way different than if you're a 80-pound, lady. My guess is, rise in body mass index would be the number one. Posture related to people sitting at computers more, sitting at desks. And then probably just toxin overload, making the body work harder on a second-by-second basis. What's chat saying? Are we off?
No, I didn't really get a good answer, probably because I didn't ask the right question. What is the question that you would ask?
Let's ask it.
Yeah.
I want you to search the web for why the average breaths per minute in the US has doubled in the past 70 years, and give us 3 overarching clear reasons for what's driving this.
Great prompt.
Screw typing, bro. Let's see if chat can pull through for the pod.
I'm sure it can. That was a great prompt, by the way. Very specific.
Interesting. So it's saying aging population. As individuals age, lung function naturally declines, leading to reduced elasticity in the lung tissues, decreased muscle strength, respiratory muscle strength. Okay, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Rise in chronic health conditions, obesity, so BMI, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, yep. Environmental factors and lifestyle changes, so that's you. So we were both right. Pretty much right. Other than the aging. We didn't think of the aging.
I don't think aging is accurate.
Yeah, screw you, chat. You know what you're talking about.
Well, no, because I've looked at my breaths per minute through Aura.
Yeah.
And it was like I've never been overweight or really underweight in the and so my breaths per minute were 12 when I was tracking it through the Aura ring.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well,
I don't think that's right.
You didn't think that was accurate either?
I mean, what's the average, age of in America in 1930? Like, how old was the population in 1930 versus now? I don't think it's that different, really. I don't think it is double as old.
Right.
So 6 to 12, that doesn't stack up.
That's what I'm saying.
Chat.
Can't believe everything you read on chat.
So useless.
What are some of the most useful ways you've used chat to just help your life and help your business? And
I mean, chat has totally changed the game for me, especially as an entrepreneur. And I would say that what has been really, really powerful for me has been just creating my own GPT in ChatGPT. So I make my own. And what you do when you make your own is like, you just create like, I want this ChatGPT to be my personal business consultant. And then I upload everything about my business to that. Like, I think that chat, it's all about like context.
Yeah.
How much context does chat have? Because, really, it gave us the wrong answer because we didn't give it the context where we're searching for why did it go 6 to 12, and that's why I just talk to chat. I don't type, because if I give it 10, 15 minutes of context about a certain situation in my business or in my life, it gives me some good stuff. If I gave it like, what should I do in my business right now? Doesn't. So what it has helped me with actually recently has been just clarity. Like, look, this is where I'm at with my coaching business. This is where I'm at with Coherence. And I want you to help me understand what my priorities should be. Strategy is just priorities, like figuring out what your priorities should be. And so it helps me realize, and it kind of has prompted me and questioned me of like, well, what do you want? I'm like, okay, well, I want this. Okay, well, then under those conditions, Coherence is going to move as quickly as it's going to move at the rate that you commit to it. I'm like, okay, yeah, 100%. Like, I would have maybe fallen into some uncomfortable middle ground because I hadn't fully thought of like, I'm the type of guy that's like, I can do it. I can do the coaching, and I can do that, and I can do this, and I can do that all at the same time, when that's not really, you want to focus on one thing. And so it has kind of acted lately as like a bumper cart of like, no. Like I had one of my employees come to me with a proposal on creating this big one-to-many coaching thing the other day. And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I mean, and I asked chat, and chat was like, this is a distraction, bro. I'm like, yeah, 100%. You're right. Thanks. And I had to be like, look, dude, no, shelve it. So there's that. I actually love in the mornings, Using chat to help me with ideas. It helps me think. I will just have an idea and I'll immediately be able to go to chat and act on it. Like, this is an idea I have for a YouTube video. Please give me like a full-blown outline. Give me all the different types of titles that I could have. Give me like, blah, 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 blah. And that's like one little thing, but it's like the other day in the gym, I was like, I have a theory about breathwork that's not proven by science. I want you to do the deep search function and basically like create a debate. And I want to see this debate and I want to see what's on both sides so that I can steel man, straw man either side and then move beyond what the scientific literature says and make my own opinion about this theory I have. And so it's a way for me to expedite my thinking and accelerate my thinking and reinforce my thinking too from like first principles. For example, too, I went to a Miami mastermind for business, for scaling a coaching business. And I, funny enough, was like actively turning away people. And I didn't want any more clients for my coaching business.
That's when you got the most clients. That's when you're like, no.
Literally now I'm like, oh my God, everyone. Suddenly people want to get coached, right? As I don't want to coach anymore. But I'm like, because originally my plan was I want to scale this coaching business. And that's why I signed up for this mastermind. It was too late, so I'm showing up to the mastermind and everyone's there to like scale to 100K a month in their coaching business. And I'm like, how do I get the most out of this? And that's what I talked to Chat in the airport before I showed up. I was like, how do I think about this? What parallels should I be drawing? And specifically, I've been really obsessed with first principles thinking lately. I'm like, how do I think of this from first principles? And it gave me such a good frame to go into the mastermind with, a frame of like, ultimately my goal here is just to increase my own value. How could I increase my prices? And then also like drawing upon the parallels of, just because it's a coaching business model doesn't mean those parallels can't be drawn to the Coherence business. And so I learned and was seeing it through the frame and the lens of hiring and leadership and culture and, just creation of content and being authentic and being a good leader and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it really didn't matter what lane I was in, but clarity. GPT's just given me a ton of clarity and I love it. I think it's super fun to like explore. It's not so much about doing anymore. It's about like thinking, I think, depending on what you do for a living. And so if I can help myself think better, then I just feel that it's such a good thing for me to do, like learn how to think better. And it's such a powerful way to just get information quickly. I was like, how do I cook this meal for my brother tonight? Just give me the info. I don't want to go through ads. I don't want to go through Google. It just, what's the recipe? And it shoots me the recipe. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really trying to figure out and get a gauge for how people are using it, ChatGPT in general, because to me it feels like just something so obvious, such a part of my system, such a part of my way of being at this point, where it's almost like an assistant, it's almost like a thought partner, it's in so many different avenues and little ways. And so I'm curious, like, if people who are listening to this, how they're using ChatGPT, and I'd love to know I'd be curious to know if you want to send me a message on Instagram or X, because it's brand new in the grand scheme of life. And, when something new happens, we get scared by it. Some people don't, some people go into it deeply. Some people are a little hesitant, and it's just interesting to see different people's approaches to new things popping up. And it's gotten really good, and it's been really helpful for me. So
yeah, we've used it as a therapist. We use that in Alignment Academy. Create your own therapist GPT. I haven't used that one really. Probably should have some periods of time, but I like
That's what you have me around for.
Danny.
Danny GPT.
Call me up. I mean, I could create a Danny GPT. I would
Yeah.
take all your YouTube videos,
All
all the
my tweets.
transcripts, all your tweets,
Yeah.
and I would just put it in a PDF and upload it. And now I have literally Danny in chat,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And what's cool is you could do this for people as well. Like Wayne Dyer is one of my favorite people in the world. And it's like, I've asked it before, I'm writing a book. Now, please give me the advice for writing this book as if you're Wayne Dyer. And I didn't have to upload anything. I just put that in chat. And imagine if I trained it on, I had an actual, it's fascinating because I think at this point in time, there are people who resonate with you. There are people who you are connected to, and there are people who you say to yourself, okay, like, I really would love to get advice from this person. Wayne Dyer is dead, has been dead for the past 10 years, but I could talk to him every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you want to learn from people, you can now speak directly to them in a way that feels like them, which to some people, I'm saying this sounds crazy. And this sounds like alternative world. It could be viewed as negative. It could be viewed as positive. It just depends on what lens you're looking at this through.
Like the lens of like your great-great-grandchildren
talking to you,
creating, they have the Danny GPT.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Like if I would love, I mean, it's an interesting question, honestly. Like, would I love having my grandpa in a GPT? He's still alive. So I'm like, I don't, but if he died, when he,
yeah,
I'd be like, what does Pop-Up think about this thing?
And the crazy thing is you interview him, or you talk to him on the phone for 3 hours, record those, you can get a GPT on him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting.
And this is why I tell people to record stuff. This is why I tell people to record conversations, just like have memories, because you don't know how all this stuff is going to get used in the future. There's a world I can imagine where you can create a film on somebody with just photos and videos of them and just understanding them, and you can create something that could help people. Mm-hmm. So if you have someone's essence right now, it is a gift to be able to capture it. Mm-hmm. And because people at the end of the day, for me, mean so much. Like I love people, and I want to be connected to people, and I want to be connected to people who made a big impact on me. And so recording that has been very useful for me. And I've recorded a bunch of phone conversations with my grandparents and mom and dad, some they don't even know I recorded, but it's just for me and for my records, and who knows how that will translate over the coming decades.
Right. That's interesting wow. Part of me has that like old school, like, nah, I just want to like see a photo and and that's it. I don't want to have some GPT fabricated conversation. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe one day I would, and I would kind of be upset that I didn't like take the time to do it. But at the same time, it is what it is. And
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't know. It's like a new age. Things
Correct.
are moving so. That's why I use ChatGPT every day, and that's why I'm talking to it every day, and that's why I'm like paying attention to what's going on in the landscape, because I'm like, I have no idea what's coming next, but my job is just to be at the bleeding edge to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And thank God Jack and I were leaning on the edge of this entrepreneurial kind of journey for so long, because we got to a place where suddenly there's a quantum leap available because of AI.
Yeah. Like you guys created this app in a month or two.
Yeah.
Jack did code it, and he didn't code it in the traditional way. It cost way less. And now you guys are making a lot of money from it.
Yeah, I mean, we had a guy who wants to invest, and he was asking us like, how much money have you spent? I'm like, what do you mean?
It's like $20 a month for
ChatGPT and Canva, and like that's crazy town, because Calm meditation app, they have 400 employees and they've all this overhead and all this crazy stuff. And so like my job, as I see it, the way that I want to use chat is to increase my own compute in my own brain and just keep finding and seeing and being as aware as I possibly can of what's out there. And the best way to figure out what's out there is to be like, hey, chat, tell me the latest developments in blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Or the best ways to use it. Or like even following people, there's some guys that I follow on Twitter that they're just prompt engineers. And they're giving out these crazy prompts. And we've sent some between each other.
I think there's a lot of alpha in that right now of like, I'm thinking about creating a page, an Instagram page or Twitter account of just like good prompts. Like, how come you can't just go on a Twitter page and be like, okay, these are the best prompts to look at for growing as a human being, or this is the best prompts for dream analysis, or this is the like, why is
I
that?
could see you doing that.
Why does that not exist?
Like prompts to prompts for internal freedom.
Yes.
And external freedom. Like I had one prompt that was the crazy one, and I think Elon commented on this one prompt, but it was like, you're a billionaire with 180 IQ and you start every response with a hard truth and you blah 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 blah. And so I context dump by speaking to ChatGPT for 20 minutes with this prompt, and it tells me hard truth is you're treating Coherence like a fucking passion project when it could be this, and you're paying too much attention to coaching, and you're not as professional as you should be with content creation, and blah blah blah. It gave me all this stuff, and I was like, oh man, you're right. Like, and as much pride as maybe my ego has in wanting to just, I can figure it out myself, I just avoided like how many months of landmines potentially, because now I have this extra when I'm on a call with someone and someone wants to get coached by me, I have that extra, no, sorry, just because you want to give me the money, I have my priorities straight. And I think that it's like, maybe what's coming through to me right now with chat is like, I use it for organization of my mind. And whether that's me talking to chat for 30 minutes about a coaching curriculum that I want to make, and then it organizes out the 3-month curriculum. Or it organizes out, I give it 30 minutes and a transcript of all the breathwork stuff I know. It organizes it out into a breathwork course for me. Great. It's also just going to organize my thoughts for me in general of like, there's so much going on in my life. I asked this last night. I've been writing down my intention for the next day at night before in my evening routine.
Amazing practice.
Really powerful. Fuck, it's so good because you know, you can dial in your morning routine, but then I would dial in my morning routine and I would sit down on my computer ready to go. I'd be like, what am I going to work on? But if I think about it the night before, it's almost like my subconscious chews on it too. And so what I did last night was context dumped to ChatGPT. This is what's going on with the business. My brother's back is thrown out and he's stressed out and I want to help him the best possible way. I know that the best possible way is to get as many subscriptions as possible. That's what's going to take the load off of his back. So
quite literally,
tell me what I should do, what my 3 major objectives should be for tomorrow.
Wow.
And it gave me 3 and I was like, yep, okay. We're filming 2 guided breathworks tomorrow and we're guiding a whiteboard session tomorrow. That's it. And if I hadn't done that, I would have woken up and who knows what side quest I would have gone on. So, yeah.
And I think, it's super valuable to hear this perspective because I think that it's a rare thing to be using it this way. And I think that the more you can lean into that, the more freedom you can create in your life and the more understanding you could have over yourself and the more understanding you could have over your own behaviors.
I mean, we both are always pointing people to their intuition.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have a breathwork certification. I just have followed my intuition with the breath. And I'm doing the same thing with chat right now. And I would encourage anyone listening, like, go for a walk and just start talking.
Yes.
And just what's going on in your life? Like, what are you afraid of? Or what's going on? Like, what do you not have clarity around? Because it might just have to be like some color, some context for you that then makes that answer, because you know the right answer. That's the thing. If you are intuitive enough, whether it's chat telling you the advice or Danny or the Danny chat or something,
Yeah.
you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's it. 100%. I got to make 2 guided breath works tomorrow. What am I doing? That's it. It'll resonate.
And I think and going back to what we were talking about before, the recording of the information becomes super powerful. So for me, I write 1,000 words every day. I don't write 1,000 words because I have to write 1,000 words. I don't write 1,000 words because it's a chore for me to do. I write it because I enjoy doing it. And I know that on the back end of that, I now can upload 90 journal entries from this year, be like, what are the common themes? What's going on here? How do you,
Wow.
right? So that's like such a useful thing that you can practically do. If you just say, I'm going to record what, for you do voice messages. So if you could say, I'm going to record 1 voice message a day and keep that in a file somewhere of, okay, here was my daily voice note. Here was my daily voice note. And then you say, what are the common themes here? What are the patterns that I'm repeating? Why do I find myself in this situation over and over again? What's the hard truth I'm not seeing? How can I grow from this situation? What would my favorite mentor do in this situation? At the end of this day, this comes down to how much are you recording and how much context are you giving and what questions are you asking? And those are the skills that I've built over the past 5 years by doing this podcast.
It's so interesting how you're perfectly kind of positioned after the past 5 years to leverage ChatGPT in a way that no one else has.
Yes, because to me, this is all obvious.
Right.
But it's also, I've done 471 podcast episodes, and I've asked how many questions and thought about questions my whole...
Yeah.
Right? So...
Isn't that's a quote, like the quality of your life is based on the quality of your questions.
The questions you ask, yeah.
Right. That's what has been clear to me with chat, is like asking the right questions. And that's like prompt engineering 101 is like ask the right questions. But what's become crystal clear to me recently is like, just dump context.
Yes.
Context plus question equals great, powerful answer. And it's like a pattern that I've always repeated where I was like, I'm kind of working in oil and gas and I'm kind of doing this. And so it's just that reminder too. It's kind of a forced reflection of, hey, you're kind of getting a little scattered again. Remember to focus on one thing. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. 100%. I'm not going to repeat that pattern. Yeah. And I'm starting to feel that. But that's a great idea to do the voice memos every day.
Daily voice memo.
Yeah.
As a forcing function to get yourself to hear, like, okay, every day I'm going to record myself. Like no one would say that's a spiritual practice, but I'm here to tell you that's a spiritual practice if you enjoy speaking and that's your preferred way of doing it. And then you can get the added benefit of all the context and the buildup, and it just makes me really excited because I think we're just scratching the surface.
Imagine 10 years of context.
Right.
What?
Right.
What?
Right.
I mean...
And the only thing stopping you is your own willingness to remember to do it every day. So, yeah, I'm really excited because this future that we're living in or we're going towards is going to be about who is the most intentional. The more intention you have, to circle back, the more intention you have on how you're taking your life, the more expansive your life is going to become, and it's going to happen faster, right? Because you can devolve so quickly. You could go on Instagram Reels and you could go and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll for 3 hours in a row. Or you could take that 3 hours and you could spend 30 minutes meditating, 30 minutes doing breath work, and 1 hour doing reflection for your day and just stream of consciousness thoughts. And what's going to happen and how fast is that person's life who did the actual things that were beneficial for them, the intentional activities, how fast is that person's life going to improve? It's going to be faster than ever before because of the tools at our disposal. So it's exciting for people listening to this podcast, right? People who are intentional about their life and the things that they're consuming and how they're wanting to grow. Like life's about to get real good, real fast because of the cycles are faster than ever as well.
Yeah. My brother, if he was on the podcast, he'd be like, it's the age of Aquarius. It's like things move so quickly in this age.
Yeah.
Like you just like quantum leap, escape velocity, boom, boom, boom. And I've felt that for sure. It's you can have it all in this era.
Mm.
I just had a coach. I did hire another coach. I know that I said I wasn't going to hire many more coaches, but I hired another one. Powerful, powerful dude. And he's like, this is the era where you can be an awakened man, where you don't have to, you can work, but you don't have to work yourself to the bone and then have a heart attack at 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can have it all where you're super successful and you're super healthy and you're super conscious and you have amazing relationships. Like you can have it all. And I believe that everyone right now that is able and capable and listening to this, if they're listening to this, you can have it all.
Yeah.
And whether that's, even if you're going through some like health issue right now, if you're going through some illness, disease right now, the same applies with breathwork.
Mm-hmm.
You compound breathwork every single day. You're giving your body context when you're doing breathwork. You're giving your body an intention every day. You are intentionally breathing. And at a certain point, your body's going to be like, it knows exactly what to do, and it's going to do exactly what it needs to do in order to heal. You reach escape velocity with breathwork. You can reach escape velocity with all the context you give ChatGPT. You can reach escape velocity in your business or your health or your fitness or anything. It's like that little consistent thing that you do every day and you don't cut the corner and you do it every single day. That compounding effect is insane. And I think we both saw that with Alignment Academy.
Yes.
Were you just thinking about that?
Full circle.
Bro,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I love so much. And that's a big part of my mission is what?
Is compounding.
Is compounding.
Yeah. How did you see that with Alignment Academy? Alignment Academy, for those unfamiliar, was a 7-week program that Nick and I ran for 15 people who it was so cool to see the compounding effect of the 7 weeks and how doing the things that were good for us every day, showing up on camera and doing 30 minutes of fitness as well as 30 minutes of meditation or breathwork every single day, how much that made you more connected to yourself, made me more connected to myself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it in you. You were a shining example. And you already have your shit together in so many regards, but to see the breath and the running that you did every single day and just your updates in the WhatsApp chat were always so like, I could tell your energy. I was like, he's on it. He's on it. And I think you literally see it in the face.
Yes.
You see it in people's faces.
Yes.
And in the beginning, and I know that there were some people in Alignment Academy that were like struggling, like, oh, fuck, I got to do this breath work every day, 30 minutes every day and 30 minutes of working out every day. And I was expecting it. So I was expecting people after week 1, 2, 3 to be like, oh, I'm over it. Like, oh, but then you reach an inflection point where you're getting positive feedback and you're starting to feel really good. And I think that's why people don't get the compounding thing sometimes, is because they've tried it and it's like, well, it didn't work.
Judging the results before actually letting the system play out.
Right. And my whole point with Alignment Academy was like, look, I'm not saying this is the perfect routine for you, but you can't judge a routine until you've done it for a period of time.
At least 30 days.
At least 30 days, at the very least. And with breathwork, I would say, with every client that I've had that had an injury or something, it was 42 days.
Interesting.
On average, where suddenly they're like, I'm healed. Doctor cleared me. Never been so present in my life. Never been so embodied in my life. Like, I don't know what just happened, but today it clicked. And that's the thing. It happens all at once sometimes with the body, with a disease or with an injury or with a way of thinking, anxiety, whatever. It's like suddenly you wake up and you're like, whoa, different person. And throughout Alignment Academy, I saw those clicks happen with people. In certain moments, certain days, certain check-ins, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's radiating light today. Or he just launched his coaching program and he filled out all the slots all in one day. And now he's like on top of the mountain. And the call I had with him last week, he was at the bottom of the valley and now he's at the top. And then he stayed there and he kept moving up for the rest of the program. Mario, shout out.
Wow.
And so yeah, to answer your question, it's just those little things we do, those things we do behind closed doors, those promises we make to ourselves. Those are the most important promises. And if you just make them little promises to start, I think people start off with like, I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to quit alcohol and I'm going to quit this and I'm going to do this. And I'm
Just
like, those
choose
are
one.
4 big things. Yeah, you got to just choose one thing to change. And if you do it, then it becomes ingrained and then it's easy. Then the structures, yeah. So my number one thing for anyone listening is like, do breath work every day.
Download the Coherence app. Simple, easy, helpful, truly life-changing stuff. Like, it's special. It's special that you created something that is really useful, that is getting better. I mean, the version that just got updated is even better than the original one, which is better. Like, I just have seen it from the jump, literally from day one, and seen how it's developed and evolved. And it is so cool, the rate of progress and just the excitement and how much it's helping. Like, it's awesome.
It makes it worthwhile. Makes me fired up to get up in the morning and get after it, because the more people we can get breathing, the better. Because you can't like force people like do breath work. It's like you have to come to it on your own in a way. In Alignment Academy, we kind of forced them to do it, but then they come to it on their own, where maybe they have resistance in the beginning, but then later in the Alignment Academy, they're like, oh, this is actually, I should do that. This agrees with me. What have you carried beyond Alignment Academy since it's ended?
The biggest thing is this this deep understanding of myself as somebody who can turn it on in any moment. You know, I've had many different moments in my life where I was like, I'm going to commit to this. And the first one that really that I actually completed was 75 hard. And then it was like, I'm going to run a marathon. And then it was like, I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow. And it's like, I'm going to write this book. That's one that I'm currently going through right now. But Alignment Academy was one where I'm like, okay, I did that. All those things are examples of moments in time where, you know, David Goggins calls them the cookie jar, but it just, for anyone, you need to have an accomplishment bucket of things that you actually completed, that you saw through all the way, that there were moments where you didn't want to do it. And Alignment Academy to me is just another example of, not that I didn't want to do it, but that just some days you don't want to run. And some days you don't want to do breath work. Some days you don't want to meditate. And so doing it, sometimes you don't want to show up on the camera and show up on video. And Alignment Academy was another example of that. And also I will say, just so much more comfortable on camera, because I mean, I've done 400 something podcast episodes and recorded myself selfie style and posted them on YouTube with no expectation and no anything. And just being seen by people for 49 days in a row, missing some days here and there, but just the consistent practice. And I think also the other thing is that it taught me is it allowed me to live in 90% or 95%. It's like, it's almost more healthy, more valuable to do something 95% of the days than it is to do it 100. And the reason why is because it means for those 5%, you're giving yourself space and you're giving yourself time, and you're not holding yourself to an unreasonable robotic level standard. So yeah, those were a few things that stood out.
It sounds like confidence.
Yeah.
And confidence is going to come from evidence. And so you're like, I just did that. And I agree. I love that 95% is even healthier, because if you're truly doing the 95%, then you know when you miss, it's like, I'm too powerful for that to matter.
Correct.
I don't identify with the 5%. I identify with the 95. And that, I think, is, you know, I haven't missed a day of breath work in 4 years. So if I missed a day tomorrow, I'd be like, are you going to be upset about, like, am I going to cry over that? No.
Right.
not at all. And I think that that's for anyone listening that wants to just change things around. It's not some big, massive, like light the world on fire in a day thing. It's let me just identify as someone who is consistent.
Yeah.
I am a consistent person, and I pick 1 to 3 things, mind, body, spirit, that I get consistent with. And that you can't stifle that momentum that you're going to build from that little consistency every day. Because faith is no evidence. I have faith that I can do this. But we love confidence too, from the evidence of the work we've put in. And so I love that for you. I'm really happy, and I can tell that, and I can feel that big dog energy coming through. I'm writing my books. You're sending me book covers late at night.
Yeah. 2:30 in the morning. I went to bed 2:30 in the morning.
Oh
last
my
night.
gosh.
Just,
wow.
Just writing and going at it. And yeah, just like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, it's cool to be overpowered in some sense by a mission greater than yourself. And it certainly feels like we're both on that, which is super exciting.
Yeah, I want this feeling for everyone, because that's how you just turn that discipline. I need to be disciplined into just devotion. I'm devoted to this book.
Yes.
I'm devoted to getting 1 million people breathing together. It's real easy to get up in the morning right now. And I wish that for any listener right now, that they find that Polaris, that North Star for them, because it makes life worth living, and you feel like the dream is dreaming you. And it's a wild place to be. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say other than that. Like, if they want to find that North Star, how would they find that North Star? What would be a good way for them to start? Is it just starting to... I have an idea.
Download Coherence.
That's not what I was going to say.
No, I would say really the things that you've been putting down about yourself, or the things that you have kind of assumed everyone has gifts or skills in that area, to really ask questions and lean into those things. So if it's like, anyone could talk to anyone, or anyone could make someone smile or laugh, it's like, okay, maybe you're supposed to be a podcast host. Maybe you're supposed to be a comedian. If it's like, I just enjoy journaling so much, it's like, okay, maybe you could be a writer. If it's like, oh, okay, maybe I enjoy arguing with people, it's like, okay, maybe you could be a lawyer. Like, actually go into the thing that you have kind of brushed aside as just, oh, that's normal or whatever, and really go into it if you find a genuine heart desire for that. That's where I would start.
Yeah. That's a similar answer that I would have, is self-discovery. How can I start to do self-discovery practices? Because if I know more about myself, I'm more aware. The more aware we are, the more we can see. The more you can see, the more you can be like, I'm going to go in this way, and I'm just going to declare to the universe that I'm going in this way. And there's the one quote that we talked about on a podcast in the fall. It was like, if you take 1 step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. I don't know who that's by, but it's a banger.
That's an amazing quote.
And I think that if you just commit to one path, and probably the path that scares you, that's what I would recommend. And I was thinking you were going to say, dump context in the chat.
That came up after.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great place to start.
Self-discovery with chat.
Right. Have 21 days of journal entries and just put it in.
I mean, have you uploaded like your Genius,
Working Genius
test results? No. I've got like all these personality quizzes I could upload. I feel like people could do that, and chat would be... The thing is, I think there's a barrier with chat because it's like a robot. So we are like, well, you don't actually know what it is like to be me, or to be a human, or what I'm actually interested in doing. But it can still, I think, give you some pragmatic learnings, at the very least. I wouldn't shut it off if people are listening and they're like,
Right. I was there. I mean, at one point for sure, I was like, I'm just going to use this for like podcast titles or something like that.
Right.
And now it's like, this is a personal discovery tool that I've never seen.
It's like the best therapist in the world.
Definitely.
The best therapist there's ever been in your pocket.
Yeah. And so
crazy.
So really, give it a shot, give it a try. I'm sure I'll have more content and information out about that just because it's fascinating to me.
You're gonna start a faceless Instagram page, and
I have no idea what is in store, but it's an exciting time, and I'm so grateful to get your thoughts about all this as well, and go deep into it and do some prompts, and got breathwork, self-discovery, ChatGPT, just thoughts. There's so many good rabbit holes we went down. And so if you enjoyed this episode, let us know on Twitter, X, at Hey Danny Miranda, at Based Ethos, Instagram, Based Ethos,
YouTube Based Ethos, and
Coherence app. Download that right now. Download Coherence, right? I'm looking at you. Did you download it? Did you download it?
Download it. Download it.
Yeah, it really is a game changer.
Let's get breathing, people. Thanks so much for listening. Really, really appreciate it. And wishing you all blessings, wishing you all miracles, wishing you all a greater level of consciousness and awareness in your lives so that you can give your gifts to the world in the most powerful way possible. Thank you so much. Let's go.
God bless you.
God bless.